sometimes you know when things happen to you and you're like, is it me? Is it me or did this just happen?
Yeah. I'm Jason Goliath.
And I'm Nicholas Goliath.
And this is a new podcast called The Happiness Economy, where we try and unpack, figure out, investigate, interrogate, I think holistically understand what is happiness even.
What is it to you? What is it to me? Is it different? Is it the same? What do you do to chase your happiness? Just chase it. We want to chat to people who we believe have found their happiness or are on the way to finding their happiness and find out what it is that makes them happy.
So, if you're happy, we're happy. The Happiness Economy with Nicholas and Jason Goliath. Tell her what you must.
On today's episode, we have the amazing
Tats Nkonzo. Let's go!
You know when things happen to you and you're like, is it me? Is it me or did this just happen?
Yeah.
So I Uber my kids to school and I go with them, but I didn't do a trip back home.
Okay.
And so when we got there, the Uber driver was like, okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you, bye.
I'm like,
You didn't add the stop.
Yes. Then it was blah, blah, blah. He ended the trip. I didn't have my phone. And then my brain was like, yeah, I'm going to walk home.
You didn't have your phone.
I didn't have my phone.
You went in an Uber.
Yeah. No, then it is you.
Because in my head, I was charging it. I was like, I'm going to drop them, come back, carry on with my day, get ready to come here.
Yeah.
8 o'clock, I get to the school.
Which is
late.
late.
And I got back home at 9:30.
How did you get home?
I walked.
How far is this walk?
9:30, bro.
I want to confirm.
Hour and a half.
I
Not
want to confirm. 9:30, bro. I want to confirm, just to answer your question.
Yes.
It's definitely you.
Yes, that's what I was saying.
100%.
It's all you.
It's 100% you.
Yes.
No, because also this is the thing you do every day. You just said to me, you do it every day. Then you didn't even see, like, why is it half the price? Why is it, there were no red flags in your mind triggering you.
And you're leaving the house without a phone. You don't consider that something could go wrong where I need a phone. Never mind that I have my kids with me, just for me. So I don't have to walk home later. I need to make a call. Like, none of these things crossed your mind.
The thing that crossed my mind was I'm going to drop them off, come back, and it's fine.
You arrived in short sleeves. Were you appropriately dressed for this walk? Because it was fresh this morning.
No, that well. And that's why I did actually decide to walk.
Okay.
Because it was also a combination of, I know I need to exercise, I know I don't. It's a walk, I can think.
So there was a whole lot of...
But
I don't have money or a phone.
things.
I don't have a choice but to walk. Don't make it this meaningful, deep decision.
But you know what I've
I've
learned,
been considering trying to get healthier.
What I've learned is, especially with things like that, life is the story you tell yourself.
You see, that's the segue.
Life is the story you tell yourself, and that's it.
Nicholas and I have spent a lot of time trying to, put names to things. So, when you speak about happiness, what's the ingredients? What's it made up of? What do you feel your fundamental rules are?
Right.
And one of the things that Nicholas, and I can't remember where you heard it, Nick, but Nick speaks about the 95-5 rule.
Oh, yes, that one from Steve Harvey.
Which for me speaks
like,
directly, no, but it speaks
Thanks.
directly
No.
to life is the story you tell yourself.
Yeah.
So explain the 95-5 rule.
So the 95-5 rule, what Steve says, and I don't know, he's probably heard it from somewhere.
Steve Harvey says.
Steve Harvey
yeah,
says.
name drop.
Because I'm the warm-up
Oh,
artist
yes,
for
and you
Family
worked-
Feud.
yeah.
Yeah.
Steve's friend, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
You've
yeah.
worked
Steve's
with
friend.
him.
Yeah,
Took
yeah,
him
yeah.
exactly
No, we've got
8
pictures,
minutes to
yeah.
drop Steve.
We're trying to get more followers here. Just listen
Make it
into the
2
next one.
minutes.
Tell you who else we know. No, so his idea of life is that life is 5% what happens to you and 95% the way you react to it.
Right.
So, for example, 5% is I'm at your,
didn't put my
I don't
address
have my
back.
phone,
Yes.
I didn't put the address in.
Yeah.
Then the 95% you have options in terms of you could have screamed at the Uber driver, lost your mind, made it his fault.
Begged
You
him.
could have begged him, or you could have gone, no, actually, I'm trying to get more healthy. This is the perfect way
Yes.
for me to start.
Right.
You know, so it's that those little decisions I feel determines your whole lifestyle, the whole way you engage and interact with the world.
And he's got a lot of those gems because he also summarizes that very point into which if you're in the wrong mood can feel like an attack, but he'll often go, don't be the cloud, be the silver lining.
Yeah.
Decide, because you have a
Right.
choice.
Right. But with that kind of thing, my problem is, and I guess it is, it's
Yeah.
like you're lying to yourself. I'm lying to myself.
Are you lying to yourself, or are you choosing a version of the
Yes,
reality that you like?
choosing of a version.
How is
makes
that
me
lying?
Go, because it's like I asked you. I go into that thing is it me, and there is a way that things are supposed to be done, and then
Yeah.
when they don't go that way, I just make up stuff
Yeah.
to make myself feel better that I didn't get the thing, or that I didn't go there, or that I made that mistake. And then every time I do stuff, I just keep telling different stories to make it fine. That's my fear.
So I believe that the way you react in that moment is going to dictate whether you can say I'm happy or not happy.
Right.
Number one. I believe that, let's not call it lying, let's just say it is not constructive to not accept. Because for me, I look at happiness as, I first thought it was existing in a space of gratitude, which I can
Right.
simplify to being grateful for the things you have already. So you wake up first being grateful for the things you have before you start being stressed and anxious about the things you don't have yet.
Got you.
So it starts there. Then I went to, but it's happy to be grateful if you haven't accepted where you are. So I'm going, if there's no lesson. So you went, is it me? So you arrived irresponsibly without your phone and without putting in the trip. So you first have to accept that, hey, I've done this.
Got you.
I've done this, which for me helps you not do this mistake again. So you'll naturally be more conscious the next time you're
Yes.
ordering the Uber or checking for your phone and making sure that this doesn't happen again, unless you really, really love the hour and a half walk. So once you've accepted that this is where I am and there's nothing I can control or change about this situation, so I am here, which means a negative reaction and overreaction and overthinking doesn't solve. So then your objective becomes, I need to get home.
Yeah.
So you go, in this moment, I can either have a great walk home with my head up, enjoying the morning
Which I
air,
did,
realizing that even though I'm walking, I have friends that work in a call center and I'm not there. You know what I mean? You
I'm
can
not
find, and I don't think that's a lie, but it's
Nothing
just
wrong with a call center.
painting the, no, nothing wrong.
Everybody
But
needs insurance.
much nicer to be having a brisk walk in the morning
Right.
than going, ma'am, is this a good time to talk? You know what I mean? It's
How did you get my number?
Oh, gosh.
if you are blaming other people for the thing,
Yes.
then I think you're lying. But if you've accepted responsibility and then apply a solution, I think that's the route to happiness and
carrying on.
feeling happy and not having this thing ruin your whole day.
So I think the important thing is that we've over the years been discussing happiness, and we've got rules.
You started early. When you came into the game, you came in with the happiness.
Yes.
No, dude.
What
I
was
didn't
your,
come
what
in
was,
with the
was it
happiness.
you were Chase You're Happy.
So I was love my life
Love
first.
Your Life.
And
Chase
love
You're
my
Happy.
life was the affirmation I would use on every post, just to
My
remind
man,
me
before
that
affirmations
even
were things.
before we could articulate what they were, but I would put hashtag love my life on every post as a reminder that I didn't used to love my life. So it doesn't matter how bad today is, it's better than what it was, because it's so easy to come from a terrible space.
Right.
You pray for things. Then when your prayers are answered, there's work to be done. Then during the work, now you're complaining again. Then I'm just like, we must not complain about the things we are praying for. So hashtag love my life was even on days where I woke up not in the mood.
Yeah.
Hashtag love my life went, hey, get up and tell her, because it's still better than what it was.
Yeah.
And that trap, bro, I'm convinced. The trap of, these nice things that people say that really are poetically put.
Yes.
And then they mean, for people who read that stuff, it means that's what life is.
Yes.
So things like, this is a big one for find what you love.
Yeah.
And then you never work a day in your life.
Yes.
Lies.
But realize though, because of that, exactly
Yes.
that. When you find your dream, you still have to wake up. Like we have call times 5 o'clock.
Yes.
Actors wake up at 3 o'clock.
And we have those call times for 8-9 days in a row.
Right.
You're working 17-hour days. You don't even know what day of the week it is, but you get up and you dollar.
And then you realize that, even in dreamland, I have work to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
So work is not it's a thing that just exists whether you're in heaven or hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether you're doing your dream job or your worst job, you're going to have to work.
But
So what's the but?
No, but the energy with which you work is different. So I've got one of my mantras is, starting a day you feel a bit low, then you start saying things like, hey, what do I have to do today? Then I change the word have to get to. So, and it's an energy thing because the sentence energy is different. What do I have
Does
to do
that help
today?
though, bro?
Listen, what do I have to
Amen.
do today? What do I get to do today? And the reason it helps is when you find the thing you love, even when you're in a bad mood, as soon as you start doing that thing, you love it so much. So I go, it's like waking up on your birthday. You don't need an alarm. You're excited for this
Right.
day already. The effort of doing the thing is different. So there is some truth, but I think that because people are lazy, they go, oh, if you find the thing you love, you don't have to work. No, you end up working harder. It's that thing of, I used to have a 9 to 5, now I work for myself and I work 24/7.
Yeah.
It's that exact sentence that when you find the thing you love, the energy, the drive to start working is different.
Yeah.
You know
I
what I mean?
think
So you have
also-
to work harder, but the way you work it's
Yeah.
easier to do the work.
I think the
can't explain.
motivation in the work, in the reason behind the work is easier.
Yeah.
Because you can see why you're doing the thing.
Yes.
Like, since I've started comedy, there's nothing I've done that I wouldn't have done for free.
Oof, say that again, bro.
So since I'm 12 years this year,
Yeah.
12 years in comedy,
Yeah.
This is nice, dude.
I haven't done a thing, and I've done some terrible gigs, bruh.
mm.
You know,
Some
you
swap
know
ones.
the
Some
struggle.
hostage situations.
But every single one of those things I would have done for free or I would have paid to do. So then it's easier to go, what do I get to do today? Because yes, even though I don't really want to in the moment, maybe the energy's low, personal issues, whatever's going on in life, you don't really want to get up and go and get on stage. But you know that feeling when backstage you're feeling a little bit down and then you hear your name and you grab that mic, you forget what was happening back there. Because now you're in your thing.
Time.
You get to be on stage. I get to sit in a room
Yeah.
and do a podcast. I get to be on TV. So I believe that thing definitely changes your energy.
But I think that in order to sustain that, because one of the things that you're mentioning is like you hear these things, right? And the thing that you heard is great, it makes sense, but it's not sustainable. So I go,
It's not sustainable.
So for me to come to that existence where you wake up every day going, I get to, is, yeah, and I think our trick has been between the two of us, constantly reminding ourselves where we come from,
Right.
constantly reminding ourselves how things were, just so that you don't take how things are for granted.
Yeah.
And that keeps that energy going, and that keeps that gratitude invested. Because it's like, if and we speak often about clarifying your why. So that when doubt comes, when it's difficult, when you don't feel like you're in the mood, your why has to supersede all of those emotions and drive you to action. So it's a difficult thing, and I think especially like in the artist space over the last couple of years, your why has become very, very difficult because I think the world we exist in also plays with our why. You know what I mean? Now our why is I want to make people laugh. Then your why is I don't just want to make them laugh. I want to leave them with something. Then your why is it's so hard to sell these tickets in the first place. Why am I doing this? These people are paying 1,500 for Trevor Noah and complaining to pay 99 rand for me. You know what I mean? It
17,000 for Kevin Hart.
Let's not
Oh my
even
goodness.
let's not even go there. So like determining your why. So when I look at you, and the reason I was excited to talk to you today is, I once had a conversation with you with Dan Frigolet, the American comedian, right?
Yeah.
I'm in the States, and Dan says to me he's desperate to do a tour of the States with Tats, but Tats is not engaging with him. Like, he believes if Tats comes, he'll arrange the tour. He just needs Tats.
Is this after he came down?
And I'm feeling I'm feeling highly offended at this point because I'm like, I've made the effort to come to America. You're not offering me a tour. He's like, no, Tats is the guy I need. Tats is the guy. So I'm feeling highly offended at this point.
How did you react in that?
In that moment, I went, listen, I mean, Dan is obviously a great comedian, but not a great prospector or proprietor of the art. He would have booked me if he knew that this is obviously a person of vendetta. So we get into a chat about, how far we've come. And I say, I've seen so many phases of Tats. And he says, what do you mean? I said, no, when I met Tats, Tats was a musical comedian. All his jokes were connected to that guitar, and he would swing that guitar like a sexy person on stage. You know how people with guitars do.
Yeah.
And then I said to him, but Tats was deep in the church. Like, there would be gigs where I'd fetch Tats from the church. We'd go and do the gig, and I'd bring him back and drop him off to continue the prayer meeting. This prayer meeting is still going. The same people. It's not a new meeting. It's not a new meeting. Then I was like, then I said to him,
That's where you go, close your eyes,
Yes.
and run out the door. Because you know they're not opening their eyes till someone says.
comes back, he's still amen. Yeah. But so then I say to him, then Tats put down the guitar and almost went on this obsessive mission with breaking up comedy
While you're speaking about.
to come and finish us. That's my point, which you correct. I must hurry up. So then I say, so Tats just goes super in. So then he looks at me and he says, Tats has an addictive personality. And I said, what does that mean? He says, no, when Tats finds something that he finds even remotely interesting, he buries himself 1,000,000% into that thing. He gives the thing that interests him, all of him. And he goes, that's such a great quality, but such a dangerous quality at the same time. Then you've now, over COVID and the last couple of years, been on another journey. In terms of, it almost felt like you just checked out from society, the norms of society, the rules of society, the expectations of society. So let's talk about your why. Let's talk about how do you get so invested in a thing where it becomes almost obsessive. Nothing else seems to matter. Your logic changes.
Obsessive person. I haven't heard that in a while, but I think maybe he's right. For me, bro, the biggest thing, I don't like to waste time. No. It's not even a time thing. I'm very, I speak these words over myself because I try not to. It's hard to be kind.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to say I'm very
Kind
lazy
to yourself.
To myself.
Are
yeah.
we?
So you guys tell me what the actual words are.
Yeah.
Because this is my. I'm very lazy.
Smart.
So I want simple.
Yes. Easy.
Give me the answer. And even when I was at church,
Yeah.
like I'd hear these messages, and the people came together and they shared everything, and God came because they shared everything. They sold possessions, and and I listened to that message and I go, okay, let's do that. Isn't
Tell everything.
Like,
Is this how it works?
You know what I mean? Like I see that, I go, isn't that the answer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Here's all these people. There's in the church there's businessmen and there's poor
Yeah.
people who don't have stuff, but we're all there. Is that not the answer? So every time I look at anything in my life, I go, what's the answer? If comedy is going to be the thing that's going to give me everything I want in terms of provision and fun and da-da-da-da-da, I don't look anywhere
Left and
else.
right.
I go, it's here.
Yeah.
I see what I need to see to go, this thing can be a career, or this thing I can make money. And then I just go, it's obsessive, but it's also, I don't want to do a lot of things. I want to do one thing,
And be
crack
good at
it,
that
Yeah.
thing.
and then the world opens up,
Yes.
and I'm doing all these different things, but I'm only
Doing one thing.
excellent, and it's like that thing of back to church. Your gift will make room for you before kings, the Bible says.
Yay!
I like it.
Now he's
I like
proving
it.
now.
Chapter what again?
Proving that he
Just
was in the
verse-
church. He was
just
there
verse us
doing the
there.
things.
Verse.
Yeah. The same congregants are going to listen to this thing and say,
Yeah. And the people say,
we've been waiting
Amen.
for him to come back. He said he's just going quickly.
Excuse me, Shandara. My point is, I hear those kind of things and I'm like, yes, that's it, right?
yeah.
And I don't, even when I started stand up, it's such a small industry that if you are good early,
Yeah.
anybody who comes into comedy tonight, let's
Yes.
say, and has a great set. What's today? Today is
Thursday.
Thursday. And they go to Funk Bar
Yeah.
and open for Kanyisa Bunu today, who's doing a show. And they
is
have a
not live.
great 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Trust me, tomorrow morning, if that 5 minutes is amazing, we will hear about
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
About this name, about this person.
Yes.
So the industry is small.
Yes.
I got into the industry. I was good enough to be noticed.
Yeah.
Then immediately what the industry does.
Yeah.
And this is the trap that, it's not a trap. It's not a trap. It's a thing that happens.
Yes.
They come for you. Hey, man, you're great. You'd be great to host. Sign here and we'll get you gigs. And we've got a great corporate opening and we can. I realized that very early. And I was like, no. I only have 5 minutes. I don't.
I'm not, no, contract. I only have 5 minutes of jokes.
I only have 5 minutes of jokes.
I have one song, guys. Only one song.
One song. So realizing that and going, I can't do all these things. I'm going to fail. I'm going to do the first one. then when they want a second one, I'm not going to be able to do it.
You say that like that's a normal thing though, but the normal thing is to lean into the attention, lean into the compliments, and to very often act beyond your competence and your ability. So what I'm saying is like you saying it like that's the normal reaction, to be conscious of that.
Right.
But if you've been watching stand-up comedy your whole life, couldn't wait to get on stage, got on stage, it went well, and immediately after it went well, all these people that you admired and respected told you that you're amazing and you can do all of these things. I think that because people are so focused on the hype of the thing, people are so focused on the attention, the I call them the byproducts of what we do. You know what I mean? So because people want the byproducts and are not as obsessed with the thing. So like one of the things I think that Nick and I did well is we kept that first 5 minutes for the first year. Because then once you learned that 5 minutes, you weren't worried about what are you going to say. You could then worry about how am I going to perform it, how am I going to relate to the audience, and work on all of the other elements that make a good comedian. Because it's not just the jokes. Because everybody's got jokes, it's not just the jokes. Stage presence, delivery, engagement, relatability. There's so many elements, but that's not a normal way of responding.
I think failure taught me that. So when I started comedy, I did a comedy competition.
Yeah.
And I got to the top 7 of the competition.
So you think you're funny? No,
so you think you're funny? Yeah. It was a national.
Yeah.
It was
David
broadcasted.
Cartins,
It was on TV.
Yeah.
And bro, every single week that I got through to the next round, I had to go through an elimination stage. It was like me and another comic, like what do you call it? Death.
Yeah,
versus
rounds.
Head-to-head versus because
Battles.
we were the worst two.
Yes.
And we can only choose one.
Mm.
So you know, when you think back and you go, oh, that's why I'm like this, or that's why. My entry into comedy was very much realizing that if you don't have the stuff, as much as you progress, it's going to be a horrible experience.
Yeah.
Every time I got through it, people were like, oh, you're in the top 19.
You're like, no,
thank you. And when I got back to my room, I'm like, oh,
no.
Do you know what I mean?
I need a new joke.
And then I go up against everyone who is ready, and I'm watching. It's a horrible experience. And then I'm back into the worst too.
Yes.
So then, what is it about you that you think makes you think differently like that? Because I see it with a lot of young comics who come in, and I think it's a thing that I've spoken to many comedians about, that in the beginning when you could, like you say, you know, everybody shows you the love. The minute we see somebody who's got potential, because firstly we want to see them grow, we want to see what they can do, and I think that was our thing was, you know, like we see you, we see that you've got something, we're like, the only way to get better is to have stage time. That's how we started our Wednesday.
You're a good seed. Let's invest in the seed. Let's make sure the soil is,
you know, so then
full of minerals,
and
water.
like, because the thing I've never considered is the pressure that it then adds to you as the comedian, always being booked, always being the new up and comer,
doing the
whatever.
same gig again for the same people because you are so great and they wanted you again.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now you realize, oh my
Now
goodness,
you
I don't
don't
have
have
new things to tell them.
So then what do you think it is about you that made you not go that direction? Why? What is the, because that I feel comes from, like Jay was talking about, wanting the fame, wanting the fortune. Because I remember my first time on stage, John Blismus taking the mic back from me as I came off and saying, come back. And in my mind, that comeback, I was like,
I've made it.
That was before Trevor Noah, my friend, was even a thing.
You were walking off and he said,
I was walking off. I just finished my first 5 minutes on stage. He gives me the mic. He's like, come back. As we hand over, he grabs me. He's like, come back. And then he went and he hosted the gig. I went off stage and I was like, I've made it. I'm going to be a superstar.
No, then started popping bottles immediately. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a small thing like that can change the individual's perception.
Yes.
So I want to know, what is it about you that made you go, no. This is not.
Yeah.
Very simple, bro. Knowing that I didn't want to feel like that again.
Experience. So because you'd experienced going on, so also that journey is different to our journey in the sense that show puts our journey in a microwave. So that expectation of the same audience, the same room, the same judges, it took us a while before we felt that anxiety of, have they heard this set before?
That's
like
true.
for us, our first 6 months, it just feels like you're always performing to different people, so your material always feels fresh. But imagine if your first set, so as John said, you came back and performed to the same people
same
again,
set,
the same people again. And also, in the beginning, you don't have enough experience to create content
Yeah.
at the pace that we can. And even when you have experience, it is painstaking
Yeah.
to get stuff out, and becomes even worse because now your standards are higher. You've created an expectation with the audience. And my struggle in my first year was exactly that. The struggle between audience's expectation, because I was already on TV doing ads and stuff. So when they saw me, they thought that I was an established actor already.
Yes.
So now there was always this race between the audience's expectation and my experience. And I was that guy that found a way to dive in to all the invites while still manipulating the content.
Yes.
And finding ways to do the same thing a different way, possibly from a gag perspective. But I remember that the audience is expecting this, but my experience is only this. Because we're still inexperienced by my understanding of comedy. I'm 12 years deep. I feel like when you are 20 years in this game, you can say, yeah, I'm an established comic. And even at 20 years, you're still gonna fail. You're still gonna flop. You're still gonna die. But it's also satisfying somewhat, because I go, at least we're not footballers or rugby players where our knees are gonna go.
Yes.
You know what I mean? The window of opportunity, I think, for a comedian is very different to most arts. Like, I think, as a musician, you've got a window. I think, we also live in that world where your age, your looks, all of those things count as well.
That's
Now
why the buttons are all the way down.
100%.
I saw a Lionel Richie video. I think it was Dancing on the Ceiling a couple of years ago, and his thing.
You were saying, yeah.
When
That
I
was
saw
in the
that
80s,
video,
that, wasn't it?
something hit me, and I was like, gold.
Gold.
That's what I want.
Immediately.
I want to show
And since that day,
you've been Lionel
Slowly
Richie.
unbuttoning and walking.
I don't know why I like it.
I think, I don't know if Lionel Richie sits in intimate environments with men in this.
All right.
Like, you know what I mean? I think it's audience appropriate.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I
At
think
least
when
I'm
you're
on the
doing-
side where the flap is up, so I can't see
Yeah.
into
No,
the
I've
show.
seen the nipple 3 times. I've seen the nipple, and it's ashy.
Oh, nipple ashy.
An
What the
ashy.
fuck?
No, it looks like the milk is dry around it. It's an ashy. It's an ashy. It is an ashy nipple. No, don't say that's disgusting. You showed
Yeah.
me.
No, it's just you're putting pictures in my. You know when someone
In
puts
other
pictures
people's
in your head that you've
Because
never.
now you almost feel like going, no, guys, look at
I've never imagined
It's
what you just said.
Yeah, show us. Show us.
And I think the whole purpose of this podcast is we want to just talk about happiness and about what leads to our happiness. Because Jay and I have conversations all the time about happiness, and I think a huge part of it is understanding where we come from, what we've been through, our different journeys have led us to the same point.
Yeah.
And then we got you on because we were just like, yeah, your journey's been the most interesting, and like the ability to switch off the social norms to chase your happiness.
That's our perception. So tell us the story.
Because
What
that's
did you
what
do?
we see.
What did you? So let's fast forward. Okay.
Yes.
You don't have to explain putting down the guitar. You don't have to explain, becoming. So you were unbelievable with the guitar. Then you proved you're the best of us even without the guitar. Then you proved that you can now do both whenever you so wish, and almost have this Chappelle-esque essence of storytelling where it feels like you want to tell us a story, not like you're coming to tell us a joke, which is a very different energy. And your stories just happen to be hilarious because you're hilarious. Then all of a sudden, there's a complete change. Your phone disappears. Your WhatsApp disappears. So talk to us about just before that. And then as quickly as you can, the journey. What did you do? What happened?
I think it's exactly like you said, bro. When you identify a feeling that you don't like, when I identified a feeling I don't like, and I go, I don't want to feel this.
Yeah.
I don't want to live like this.
Yes.
When I left advertising, I left not because I didn't want to feel like this.
Yeah.
I wanted to find out
Yeah.
if I wanted to do advertising, and when I left, I didn't go back. I found comedy.
And just because you can do it, it can still give you a bad feeling.
Yeah, it's
I
exactly
was
like we were
great in
saying.
a call center,
Yeah,
bro.
I'm sure.
You-
I used to make wonderful
Then you've
money
also
in
got
the
that
call
nice deep
center.
voice.
Yeah.
And you were
I hated
artistic
it
and
every single day because I knew how to overcome the objections. I was in sales. It was easy. Sorry.
there's
No,
people.
yeah,
So
100%.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
there's people in our world as well, and so that what I've realized, that corporate feeling that I was running away from, And you know what it is, the
Yeah.
9 to 5, it's been put in our heads, you know, what do you call?
The shackles.
Rat race,
Yeah,
shackles.
Yeah.
Look, misrepresentations of the thing, because it is what it is.
100%.
But I was very scared of that from very early.
Yeah.
From matric, from
Same.
studying,
Same.
as I was walking into the workspace,
just
I
feel-
was very aware of those movies with the guys in the hat and the wife and the
Was
suit.
there also
Yeah.
something of not disappear? I always hated disappearing into the crowd and just being like everybody else.
So that picture for me, I was like, oh, right?
Mm.
Left advertising, got into comedy. Liked it. My first big death in comedy
Yeah.
was in front of a media. It was the launch of the season 2 of So You Think You're Funny.
Oh, yes.
And I did so well in the show, Top 7,
Yes,
that
they
when I
pulled
left
you
that
back.
show, that's when I was like, okay, I'm doing comedy.
Yeah.
I got an agent. Now we were hustling to get gigs
Yeah.
and corporates.
Yeah.
One of the first corporates I got was that season 2 launch.
Nice.
They know me. They saw me.
Come
it's
on.
an easy in.
Too easy.
Yeah.
Ask them. Sure, you can. Bro, got the booking. 5,000 rand.
Come on.
5,000 rand was my first corporate.
And 5,000.
That's quite a
this
lot,
was This
actually.
was when 2009, 8.
2009.
So that's a lot of money in
It's a lot of
2009.
Right?
5,000 for how long the set?
About 5 minutes.
Come on, 1,000 rand a
Yeah.
minute.
Yeah,
In
1,000
before the
rand.
World Cup. You and Shabalala were in the same income group. You were in the same debit order strategy.
Absolutely, bruh.
So you weren't doing 90-minute sets like you was.
And it wasn't even a show. It was David talking about last season and how they're doing another season and the sponsors, cameras, journalists. There were no other contestants
yeah.
because it was just us.
The launch, yeah.
And I think Sfiso, who won, and me were the only ones there.
Ah,
Bro, I got there late
of course.
with my guitar,
Oh, of course.
got to the venue. DJ box is over there. The stage is over there. No way to connect the. Too late to connect the.
Because you're late.
Right. Get up on stage. Yeah, it's fine. Just play loud,
Yeah.
you know. Get up on stage. Bro, they can't hear anything. You know when you start hearing by the bar, you're like, By the time I'm on stage playing, no one is listening. Bro, cameras, journalists. At some point, David Gow came up on stage. You know when you see the
During?
MC? Yeah. When you
During?
see the MC and you're like, fuck, this is...
While you were still...
But why he was trying to help. So now he gets up, he's trying to explain. Now he's trying to have a conversation with me like, so you married, eh? Your wife is a doctor. Bro, I'm young. I don't know what you're doing. You're disturbing me.
I only have one song. You're disturbing me.
So I can feel it's awkward. Right? I walked off. Woke up the next day to 3 or 4, fortunately,
Yeah.
3 or 4 comments, a blogger and
Yeah.
and a person who was like, and there was Tats Nkonzo who was, and yo, dude. I remember sitting at home, right? So that's happening. Boof. And remember going, I don't want to feel this again. From that day, up until, for years,
Yeah.
I was never late for gigs. Always there.
Yeah, just 4 years.
For
okay?
years.
Not so
I
much.
don't continually
Not
do
for
it.
always and forever.
Yeah.
But I mean for a few.
I'm only human, guys.
I
I'm
arrived on time for a
only-
few gigs thereafter.
for a few years. Got to gigs early, and the thing I did on that launch, I did new jokes. I was
Okay.
like, I'm gonna show them.
Yeah.
I'm season 2.
Set yourself
I'm
up.
level 2. None of the jokes worked.
And just for context, new jokes can be like, you can drive incredibly well.
Yeah.
Then you jump into somebody's city golf where that clutch is either on or off.
Yeah.
Now you've been bragging about how good a driver. Nicholas and I, in fact, we're outside,
knew you
we're
were
outside the
gonna do
SABC one morning after a radio interview, and we're standing on the street, you know, and it's on that hill in Auckland
yes,
Park,
going down.
and some guy comes up to us,
unnecessary.
like we're having a guy. Some guy comes up to us, and literally the guy goes, "Sorry guys, I wonder if you can help me." So and his voice is just like that. And so we
I
thinking
pictured
this
the
guy
bra.
wants money. So we go, "Hey, what's up, my brother? How can we help you?" He says, "Hey guys, I've got a problem. You see there, it's my car. That Corolla, it's a Taz." He goes, "That Corolla, I'm scared to come out of that parking," because he's parked on the hill and there's cars in front of him and behind
Got
him.
you too.
So he says,
Yeah.
Oh no!
Can you guys help me just to pull my car out?" Hey, we teasing this guy. You bought your license. What. I said to Nick, it's easier for you to get in and out of a small car.
Yeah.
You just jump in and drive it. You know what I mean?
And he's like,
guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hey, Nick jumps in, starts the thing, wham, revving. The guy's car's cold, revving. Myself and the guy standing on the pavement behind the car. Nick's got his hand on the steering wheel, looks back at us just to check his distance, then rev, and while he's looking back, as he released the clutch, just throws straight in the car in front of him. Directly.
No, don't say drove. I didn't drive.
you didn't
I
drive.
didn't drive.
Because it was in reverse.
I was in
clutch
reverse. I rolled into gently.
No,
in.
we're standing there.
Car.
So think about and
Yes.
pa.
Yes, there's
Then reverses off the car that he's just hit. There's a bantam bucky with a tow bar. Hits the tow bar. Reverses off the tow bar. Pulls the car out into the street. Says nothing. Jumps out and says, "Show my guy." The guy now doesn't know.
No, I didn't say show my guy. I said, hey,
That
my
was
man.
your equivalent of "Thank you very much, guys, for your time. Bye."
I said
Give
to
me
him,
somebody else's name. My name's
hey,
Tats
my man,
Nkonzo.
there's cars coming down. You in the traffic. You can just move your car. Because there was no damage. In my defense, there was no damage.
So he's left the car in the traffic. He didn't even look at the front of that guy's car.
Hilarious.
I heard the tow bar come out of the bumper. The guy now has got Nick's left the car at an angle in the middle of the road. As the guy's jumping in, there's other cars coming down. It's like 4 other accidents almost happen at the same time. But Nick and I are stone-faced at this time. As the guy leaves, I peed with laughter. So it's exactly that thing of clutch control. You think you got it, but new jokes. You don't know where the clutch takes on
Nothing
these jokes
worked,
here.
bro.
You've got to test them. You've got to run them. So nothing works. You don't like the feeling.
Nothing worked. So I experienced a death where other comics will die in a club with 2 people, 5 people. It's nice to grow like that.
Yes.
No one gives a fuck. No one saw
100%.
you.
Yeah.
In my head,
Everyone knows.
everybody knows.
At home
So
writing their stories.
that death, it was literally, I can attribute to you feel something, you don't want to feel it again, and then you do everything so you don't feel that thing again.
Yes.
And for me, that directed me to that kind of discipline. It wasn't that I'm disciplined. It was I died like that, and I was like, fuck no, never again. So now I'm that guy. Early, prepared, knowing what I'm going to say.
Prepared.
And for those years as I was growing as a young comic, people were putting all these things on me, but they don't know, motherfucker, it comes from that. Right?
A massive
From knowing I don't want that taste in my mouth
Huge.
again.
And then I see people dying at clubs when I wasn't dying, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we laugh it off and da-da-da, but I was so like me.
It's
I
not
don't
today.
treat death like
Fool
that.
me once.
I get you guys, you like, but so I just carried on like that, right?
Yeah.
COVID comes.
Yes. Out of nowhere.
2020. So from that discipline, I now have a career. I'm building a career. 2020 happens. World closes down. We can't go to shows, blah, blah, blah.
career.
I can see people are like, what are we going to do? What are we going to... That feeling, my ex-wife is in public health, so the kids came with me full time.
Yeah.
Sitting there trying to think, I don't like this feeling.
Yeah.
So what I did was, what I had to do to not feel that. Now it looks like not having a phone, getting away from society, blah, 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 whatever it looks like. But the motivation for it was, fuck all of this. I'm not going to survive in an environment that's always wondering and always know 21 days. So I did what I did.
Anxiety.
Went to the bank, whatever, sorted out my money, found out how much money I had to not worry because everyone's like, it's going to come
You
to
had a
an
lot of
end.
money. Because me, at any point, I know exactly how much money I have. I don't have to go to the bank to discover. You went to go and check your portfolio.
You know what? Even as I say that, I went onto the app. I didn't go to the fucking bank like it's the 90s. That's hilarious. Yes.
Please be the manager.
I opened my internet banking and saw how
Yes.
much money
While using the neighbor's Wi-Fi. Standing
I
right
got
against
you.
the wall.
PR,
You
boy.
know,
PR.
But your
I
phone
got
must
you.
be up against
I
the
got
wall
you.
so it can
Yeah.
So I called my financial manager. I was like, listen, bro.
Hi, Mom.
How much bucks do you have? I got you.
It was that. Went onto the app, did the math. How much time does this money that I have buy me?
Yeah.
It was a year and a half. So for a year and a half, I didn't have that feeling.
Because so when I speak about acceptance,
Yeah.
you accepted this is my situation.
Yeah.
You accepted this this unsureness is going to be every morning. So I can't relive this every single morning because it's going to be every morning and none of us know how long it's going to be. Then you go, because I've accepted it, what can I do?
I'm out.
Let me find a way of having some sort of anchor, and your anchor became, I've got how many months?
It was, I remember
18 months.
It was 18, yeah.
So I've got 18 months where I'm going to survive, our kids are going to survive.
Yeah.
Then what?
A whole new fucking world.
What does that mean?
It means, guys, you don't understand. No one will ever be able to tell you because it won't be the same for everyone. But once you step into your life, right? If you didn't have to think about money,
Yeah.
and I didn't have to think about money, and you didn't have to think about money,
Shit.
for 18 months, and we leave this studio, I promise you, your brain, your mind, your
Completely
thoughts,
different.
your blah, 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 mine, and they go to completely different places.
Money consumes us.
Mine
The
is there already.
dreams you have, the things you want to try, the ideas that you even have to make more money. Brother, I tell you now, you can't think that shit up now
Yeah.
while you are in
So
Because while you're working for the money.
while you are in the matrix, the system, the
Capitalism
fucking
is a
frequency, right? But when you're out,
Yeah.
bro, I have a new life. I reincarnated again. I have a new way of doing things. I have a new way of fucking talking to people and not talking to people. Because, bro, I discovered my voice. I heard myself. Hey, Tats, do this. Don't do this. Take your kids there. Dream this for your kids.
are there more than, is there more than one voice to discover?
No.
So when I say, like, you say you discovered your voice, I've got a voice that says you're gonna be good, and I've got a voice that says you're gonna fail. How do I know which is the voice?
Let me spit this lyrical like this.
Come on.
There's voices that you've heard. This is what when I was waiting, because when you're trying to listen, you have to identify every fucking thing that says anything to you. It's literal like that. If someone taps you on the shoulder and says something, you
Yeah.
turn around and you see
You
who it
acknowledge,
is.
yeah.
So think of it like that, even with yourself. You're not gonna make it. You have to engage that shit. Who's this?
Why?
And if it's you, that's the conversation you have to have. If it's not you, that's the thing you have to find out. There's voices you've heard growing up, your mom, your the things you read. Manners maketh a man. That was my high school.
Yes.
All this shit. You don't kiss and tell. All the stuff that you heard that make, right? You
You've
take
ignored-
that
you've
stuff
ignored all of those things in your life. Let's
and you
continue.
move. You become an adult.
Yes.
Now we're adults. We are hearing voices. Vusi Tembegwayo is saying shit. Eugene will tell us things.
And the world has an expectation of
Right.
what adulting is supposed to be.
So that's two.
And all those words you were talking about that we hear in the universe.
The posts, those are the two voices. Those ones you've heard before, who you are, where you come from, blah, blah, blah. The voices you're hearing now, I'm 38, right? Then there's the consolidated one. The one that goes, I'm my own person, and what do I believe? You know what? I'm going to take this, I'm going to take this, I'm going to wade through it, and I'm going to decide.
Yes.
Right? There's that.
It's difficult to do though.
But even that, bro, is not the voice. Because that's you applying yourself and
Yeah.
your mind
Your
and
lived
your who I want to
experience.
be. There is a voice that is not yours, that is in you, and it's only there to be heard. You can't touch it. You can't tell it what to do. You can't tell it what to dream. It comes and you hear it. Bro, it's not a dream. It's yours and it's there, right? Now that's the voice that goes, I was raised and society, da 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 da. I've always thought, you say I've changed so many times. I always thought I was a married guy who goes to church. That's the constructed self.
Yeah.
It is the constructed self. It sounds like it's you, but it's the constructed self. It's you. You've applied yourself very wisely and blah, 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 whatever the fuck you want to say. But you've applied yourself. And now you're this.
Is the general application of that to survive the way you perceive, or for what you perceive survival to be? So you put yourself in these prisons of, I'm supposed to get married because that's what everybody thinks must happen. I'm supposed to have
kids.
I have kids,
house,
earn a
buy the
living.
thing.
So I've got to tick all these boxes just to be okay by the perceptions that have been
Right.
indoctrinated or the way we were socialized.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, is that the break in the norm? Because I think a lot of us don't listen to these voices because we're just in a machine, we're just in the factory. You go to school, you either go get a job or you study and then get a job, then you have bills and then you must just work to pay these bills. And then you start saving for retirement and hopefully you'll enjoy your life sometime, at some
Save
point.
so that you can retire and live
Oh,
nice
no, I
till you
refuse,
die.
guys.
No,
So-
but it's easy for you to refuse. But I'd say 99% of Earth is in that
That's how, yeah.
in that trap. So how do because I keep going. One of the scariest things, my wife's uncle, late uncle, brilliant man, said to me, "Hey, my boy, I can't say this to everybody, but I'm gonna say it to you because I think you got a good head on you. Work is overrated." And he was the strictest. The guy was the principal. He was a priest. The strictest. I wasn't even looking forward to meeting the guy because I thought he was in a judgment. And he says to me, "Work is overrated." I said, "What does that mean?" He said, "You're going to spend your whole life stressing and working for this money. Then when you do have the money, you're going to be too old to spend it. You're going to be tired, too tired to enjoy it." So he said, find the balance in the day, in every day. Don't think about the end so much, but think about where you are and find your balance and enjoyment where you are, because this is the point. Retirement isn't the point. Every day is the point. The now is the point. How am I feeling and living now?
As a dad, what are you teaching your kids about happiness?
Exactly that.
No, give us the
The
lesson.
inheritance I want to leave my children. I go to therapy. I'm 38 years old, and I find out that the problem started when I was young.
Yeah.
I find out that the day I lost hearing myself was when I was small.
Yeah.
The day I started to listen to other voices and build this facade of how to make
Yeah.
was when I was young. Every adult who goes to therapy finds out that it's back there.
Yeah.
My thing now is, okay, cool. Let me just make sure my kids never have that.
Because you've been
Because
through.
I have, again, like I say, I like to be simple. I have the answer.
But how do you
Everybody
make
who
sure?
goes to therapy comes back
So-
with the same, it happened there.
I agree with Nick. What's the physical manifestation of that?
My boy, listen to yourself. My boy, there's a voice inside you. You always have to be yourself. My boy, no matter who's in front of you, how did you feel? Keeping my kids connected to their feelings and how to respond based on that is the inheritance I want to leave with them. Because when they're 40 and you see a 40-year-old who's in touch with his feelings
Yeah.
and knows how to move, that's Elon. That's Steve. That's the bank manager who's at peace with his
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
That's the adult that you want, that you see and go, what is it they have?
They have something.
Yeah.
So for me, the work is just never let them lose it and being confident in that inheritance, that voice. When you say everybody's different,
Yeah.
and I can give my kids that ability to move in that difference. My kid's name is Ohlukileyo. I named him that because it means he who is different. I gave him permission
To be
in his
different,
name.
different.
My boy, whatever the fuck you thought.
How do you
Do
how
it.
do you handle a situation where his voice and your voice don't agree? Because you're the parent.
Where his voice and
So
my
you go
voice.
listen to your voice, be yourself. And he does an action, and your voice, who you trust, disagrees with that action.
Then I mean that's just a parenting thing in terms of with them I to teach them why I'm doing what I'm doing. Daddy, why'd you pick us up late? Blah, 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 blah. My boy,
Daddy got
I put you in
balls.
aftercare.
Yeah.
When I was young, I didn't have aftercare. My
Yeah.
dad picked me up at 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just sitting outside.
Sitting
the school.
outside.
Dusty.
I've got work. This is how I work. You know my jobs. You sometimes I get a call. I move. Boo, boo. So I can't pick you up at the same time every day. But what I have done is I've put something
In place.
so you understand. What's
a
it called?
safety net.
Aftercare. Why is it called aftercare?
They
You get
care
it.
For me after
I don't have to change
But
anything.
the point I'm making is because what you're saying, you make it sound simple, but I think those voices are delicate, and I think to teach kids constantly to listen to those voices and parent them at the same time must be a hell of a thing. Otherwise, all parents would have been able to do it. So it's how do you discipline and still have them know that they must still be themselves? How do you go, I know you were yourself and you thought you were listening to the right voice, but I don't want you to do this.
Yes.
Then you expect them the next time to still trust that voice.
Because they need to understand my kids need to know themselves. That's how I'm raising them. Secondly, they need to know me.
Okay.
There's nothing more beautiful,
Okay.
bro,
Okay.
that in my head than a kid when I'm gone, bro, and my kid has a memory of me that fucking leads him to the next moment. And it's a memory of me. His hero, it's me. He saw me do it. He saw me chase my dreams. He saw how it worked out. And no matter how it fucking worked out, whether I get it or don't, whatever it is, my kids' experience of me is me. It's me. They saw dad chase his dreams. Oh, wow,
The
he
way
never.
Dad wanted to
But their
chase his
memory
dreams.
is of me.
Tats, what makes you happy?
Listening to myself. What makes me happy is in every moment, if I pause and I go, did I listen, and am I in this situation because I listened? That gives me security. That gives me safety, because I'm just going to keep doing that.
And it's
When I
constant
feel
work.
lost is when I'm doing shit and I'm like, oh, I don't know why. Or I know that I didn't listen. Or I know.
So I call it doing the right things for the right reasons.
Bro, I don't
That's
even
mine.
use the word right, because what's
No,
that?
it's what's right to you. You know, it's that feeling, it's that voice. You know when you're doing something, when you agree or disagree to do something. You know why. Inside, you know it's right for me. or
While
it's
this
not right
this
for me.
argument happens, answer the question yourself. What makes you happy? Put it below. And more importantly, who would you like to see us talk to about their happiness? Whose happiness makes you curious? And what are the highlights of happiness to you that you'd like to see discussed here? Salute and away. Short for watching.